When you're stopped at a DWI roadblock or checkpoint, the officers are going to request whether you have license information. They may ask for your license, they may ask for your insurance card. More importantly, they're going to ask you if you've had anything to drink that night. If you answer no and they can smell an odor of alcohol, or you answer yes, depending upon the fact that they're asking that question, they may require you to step out of the vehicle and perform field sobriety test. It's important that if you're arrested in connection with a DWI with a roadblock, that you seek the advice of an attorney, because the roadblock itself has to be performed under certain circumstances and requirements. The officers can't just have an impromptu roadblock. They have to follow guidelines as to how the roadblock's employed, where the roadblock's employed, for what period of time. They also can't randomly, on a hunch or suspicion, stop certain cars and not stop other cars. They can stop every car, they can stop every third car, but they can't just pick and choose, let's stop that car, but we're not going to stop that other car. Thereafter, the field sobriety test you may be requested to perform. There's a series of tests they provide, an HGN test where they track your eye movement by following a pen or their finger. If you're under the influence of alcohol or certain types of drugs, the HGN test will, instead of your eye movement being smooth from side to side, it'll be jumpy. They will measure the onset of the jumpiness. However, that test is not permitted to be used for probable cause for your arrest, or to prove innocence or guilt later, to prove guilt that you're under the influence, because it's not scientifically approved. However, most officers will start the field sobriety testing with that test. Thereafter, they can have you walk a line, walking 9 steps, turning and coming back. However, as attorneys, we'll look and see whether there was an actual line that you were set to follow, or they just said follow an imaginary line, whether the officers explained it and showed you how to perform the test, not just advising you to perform it. There's also a finger-to-nose test. They can have you recite the alphabet, they can have you count, and the officers will also make just general observations of your physical condition, whether you have an odor of alcohol in your breath, whether your eyes are bloodshot, whether your clothing's disheveled, how much you admitted to having consumed alcohol. All of those things the officer has to take into account, and all of it has to rise to the level of probable cause for him to believe you were intoxicated in order to make an arrest. Many times in New York also, the officers can give you what's called an Alka Sensor. It's not actually a breathalyzer test, it's a portable device that gives them a reading level that will help them determine whether or not, when you go back to the station, that a blood alcohol test would show that you're intoxicated. However, like the HGN test, it's not scientifically approved. They can't use it in court for either probable cause or guilt at trial. However, that's the test they usually end with before they will arrest you and take you back to the station and have you request to take an actual breathalyzer test.